Okay, so apparently today is Liberation Day claimed by Donald J. Trump. It is April 2nd, and that is what he's dubbing today because of the new tariffs that he's put against Europe and actually the whole world. My name is Roman, aka YoungBizWhiz, and we're gonna dive into this story at 10 at night off of 2 coffees and a McDonald's iced slushie. Let me talk to her and let's get right into it. First things first, yes, today is National Independence Day or whatever. I was doing a lot of research for this video because I wanted to talk about the tariffs and try to know the most amount of information I could to give to y'all.
I think you're going to remember today, it's going to be a free nation that we're dealing with. We're going to have a very free and beautiful nation. It's going to be Liberation Day in America, and it's going to be a day that hopefully you're going to look back in years to come and you're going to say, you know, he was right. This has turned out to be one of the most important days in the history of our country. That's a 10. That's a good one. Yeah.
First thing I want to say is I thought Trump was just doing tariffs against Europe, but it's apparently 10% across all goods coming into America. 10% of goods imported into America, not just, you know, Europe, Ireland or whatnot, you know, UK. It's the whole world. And to start that off, let's just say I think it's a very drastic measure, especially one I was not even expecting. I thought it was just going to be like one of those tariffs against a country or two, maybe against a whole continent. But he has surprised me, I'm gonna be honest, and I am cracked out for this video. Hopefully this lasts throughout the whole segment. But basically, what it is Trump is saying that we have massive deficits when it comes to trading with other countries. The US in 2024 has a deficit of just under $1 trillion trading internationally with imports versus exports. I think it's about $900 billion exactly, but you could correct me if I'm wrong. And so because of that, and because of the sign he brings up, it would seem that America is losing a very, very big trade war, at least with the numbers being shown. And it just kind of surprises me that, you know, America hasn't let it lead on to this point, because, you know, I would assume America would have something like that under wraps with us being over $30 trillion in debt. But it's really not that surprising. You know, Americans are like the biggest consuming country in the world, with 80% of our GDP being spent in the 4th quarter alone in 2024. And on top of everything else, it would seem that we are losing the trade wars very badly. And Trump is trying to salvage whatever remains of it. Now, a lot of people are arguing that, you know, there's a lot of bad coming out of what Trump's doing with the tariffs and the trade wars. You know, a lot of stuff has been going on recently, like people losing their jobs, people being fired in the government, you know, the stock market going down ever since he's been talking about trades. I mean, Trump was, when he got elected into office, letting the stock market go up like he did in his first term, and it went up like a good bit before it dropped like 10 or 20%. I mean, just off of the tariffs alone today, the stock market, NASDAQ, S&P 500 have dropped just about 3% in one day, which is still a lot of money to just swing just like that in a trading day, especially with multiple stocks going down, maybe even more than just 3%. But since it's just a collection, you know, 3% is just a crazy amount. Now, with all this in mind, you know, with the 10% tariff flat out on imports coming into America, I just think that a lot of people have very different opinions. Some people think that Trump is using the tariffs to make them bow down to America. Some people are saying that, you know, the amount of jobs that are going to be lost is going to be economically horrible and disastrous for us. And some people are saying that, you know, this means bad news for a lot of people, because it won't be just jobs in America. People internationally are being affected because America is still at the center when it comes to things that happen internationally, because the US dollar is basically pegged to every other currency in the world. Now, what I want to say is I think it's a little crazy that people think that Canada wouldn't bow down to America or won't be bowing down. My big thing with Canada and America
Apparently Trump says we subsidize Canada about like $200 billion. We're subsidizing Canada to the tune of over $100 billion a year. The United States is subsidizing Canada. As I called him, Governor Trudeau, I said, listen, what would happen if we didn't subsidize you? Because we give them a lot of money. It's very unfair. With Canada, we lose $200 billion a year with Canada. That's because we allow them to make cars. We allow them to take lumber. We don't need their cars. We don't need their lumber. We don't need their... I think the number is closer to 50 to 100 billion actually in 2024. But people are saying that Canada can just trade with other countries internationally without having the government, you know, trading with like Europe, trading with like Russia, China, etc. And to me, it just seems like, I feel like people are forgetting the big picture of the fact that another thing I'd like to add is, fun fact, Canada is really only connected to the United States of America and Alaska, which is also part of America. And when it comes to exporting goods outside of Canada, with most of them going to the US, I mean, does no one realize that you'd have to pay like a huge shipping fee to get products from Canada to these overseas countries that wouldn't be America? I mean, like the amount of shipping that has to go through America from Canada to go to these other countries as well. I think people are really misrepresenting the numbers here and how much it's actually going to cost to pull off these great ideas that people are saying that because of the Trump tariff that Canada is just going to move along and just be able to thrive freely without the Trump tariffs. And I just don't think it's true, first of all. Second of all, I also think that this is more of a power statement from America more than anything. I don't think these tariffs are here to last. I think they're really just here to be for a power move, maybe to get the upper hand on some deals or whatnot. Though I think some tariffs are gonna stay put and like leave their mark in history. Yeah, I think so. But in general, it just seems like these tariffs are really meant to like show, I guess, the American government and I guess our power to the world. I mean, we pay over like $1 trillion in military spending. It's not like people aren't going to get bullied by the US government. I'm not saying it's a good thing or bad thing, but I wouldn't want to be fighting the American government when it comes to like, you know, a small country. Germany has a $200 billion surplus when it comes to trading. And I just thought that was interesting to add because I am part German. Now, I'm not saying anything about, you know, involving the Third Reich into this video, but I just think it's interesting that some countries have a positive trade import-export ratio. And it seems that Germany is importing high quality goods and exporting them. So I feel like there's, you know, there's somewhat of a blueprint there if we want to follow. America, in my opinion, should be known for manufacturing high quality goods, quality products, and that could possibly help turn the tide when it comes to trading and whatnot. But overall, like, I can't believe today happened. I really thought it was just gonna be Europe being affected, but it seems like the whole world is, and mine's still spinning. I have people in my TikTok comment section just arguing nonstop. I mean, the video has over 100 comments and 2,000 views. Like, I think that explains enough. And it's just, wow. Today is a crazy day, and I don't know. I actually just got a job today being an assistant general manager, so I'm very happy as well, getting finally accepted after 80 job applications in the last 3 or 4 months. But hey, even with colored hair, I still got my dream job, you can say, and I will finally be able to start, you know, saving up money to buy things that I need and start progressing with my life once again. Hopefully this job stays for the long run because I'm here to at least work more than 3 days. Anyways, other than that, to recap everything, Trump basically just put a 10% tariff on the world and put everyone on notice, even though he's been putting everyone on notice because, you know, he's the president of America, and anything the president does in America is big waves, especially when it's Trump. And I got a job, which I'm pretty happy about. And not only that, it would seem that I am kind of surprised. I'm very surprised by this news, and I don't know what's in store, but I hope it turns out for the good. Okay, I really hope it turns out good for us, because as an American, I cannot imagine paying $20 for eggs when people are already paying $15 or $17. The prices and inflation are crazy right now. I've already said it before and I'll say it again. Tariffs usually cause the taxes and the costs that go to the company usually get transferred over to the consumer. And as a consumer myself right now at this point, I am not building anything to create wealth.
that would shorten me out of the middle class, going from lower class to middle class to just going right back to lower class. So anyways, my name is Roman, aka YoungBizWhiz. What do you think about the whole situation? Are you happy, sad, glad, shocked? What's your story? What's your take on the whole news? Have an awesome day. And I'll be doing a video soon talking about my third job that I ever got in my life, where I got fired in less than 3 days. Take care. Have an awesome day. Peace. Trump also has